Hi, my name's Emily Gibson, and I'm a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and I am a huge believer in doing weekly accountability calls with your leaders. I did a video with Brooke Hemingway. You can find it on her YouTube channel where we talk about these accountability calls and how we run them. So this call is not going to be about that. This call is for those of you who are already running these accountability calls and what to do when you have leaders that want to quit on you. Because what I found is that this was just like getting people on the products. I could get them on the products and have them committed to the products, but then 3 weeks in, I start getting messages about wanting to quit. And then another month later, if I save them at that point, then another month later they want to quit again. And then another month later they want to quit again. And then new people are wanting to quit. It's the same thing. This is about holding people accountable to their goals. When you invite someone into your accountability calls, what that means is you have promised them that you will hold them accountable. And it is your job to not let them just easily walk away when they become uncomfortable. So what I want to talk about is an example of a few different women, and I'm not going to get into specifics or anything like that, but just kind of show you a broad example because so many came in right at the 3-week mark, literally on the same day. It was like they had planned it, but they didn't. It just, this natural progression of human nature to want to walk away from something when it becomes uncomfortable. And what I found with these accountability calls is that a lot of people get uncomfortable at the 3-week mark. The romantic period ends and the honeymoon is over. So here's an example of a few different women. I combined a few different stories together so that I could show you a little bit and a variety of why they wanted to quit and how I helped them to keep going. First of all, at that 3-week mark, I started getting messages from people saying, I think the accountability group is really good, but I haven't gotten much done with it. And I don't want to waste your time, but I'm just not sure I have the time to dedicate to this. And so what I say to someone when they come to me and say that they're loving the calls, but they're just not sure if they're really committed. And of course, if you watch my other video, you know I've already had a phone call conversation with these people if they are in my group, and I have asked them hard questions as a qualifier to get into this group. So I'm only working with people in these accountability calls who are 100% committed. They're dead serious about their business, and they are people who are absolutely sure of that. So when they come to me and they say things like, I think this is a great group, but I'm just not really sure if I'm committed, I already know they're committed. They've told me that, or they wouldn't be in this group. And it was in a phone call conversation, not a message. So we were clear in the beginning. It's my job to hold them accountable and not back down. So what I say to them after they give me this message of I think I want to quit is I'll say something like, I'm glad you're voicing your challenges. Sometimes I think it's good to say them out loud so we can hear them. There are going to be times where we have to dig deep and make sacrifices for the things we really want. And I can see that you're doing that right now. I can see that you're struggling in that, and that is making you stronger. And so we went back and forth at that point, and she said, yeah, you're right. You know, I definitely see that. I'm going to keep going. Then about a month later, again, I had 3 or 4 people the same exact time. Some of them were new people. Some of them were the same people that had struggles at the 3-week mark. But again, it was just about 3 to 4 weeks later, I had another set of messages come in, and it was like they had planned it. It was so crazy. But what that tells me is that this is normal leadership development. This is not that people are not trying. It's that they've reached that level, they hit that lid, they reach that level of discomfort, and they just would rather pull away. So an example of a message that you might get anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks in these accountability calls is a message sort of like this. Hey, can you take me out of the accountability group for now? I'm feeling really overwhelmed with everything. I feel like things are hanging over my head. I'm feeling guilty all of the time. I don't want you to think I'm giving up, but I'm just struggling to juggle everything. Now, people who I got these types of messages from, and again, I got multiple messages like this. The people who I got messages like this from were my driven, self-motivated, hardworking people. Type A, perfectionists, successful in everything that they do. And I knew that they were capable of doing this. And so I wanted them to see, because I already knew why they were wanting to give up, but I wanted them to come to that conclusion on their own. So I want to show you the types of questions that I asked them to hold them accountable in an effective way. And I used this method with 4 different women who literally tried to leave the group all in the same week. And I used this method, and every single one of them stuck on the call. And within 2 months of that, they all rank advanced because I didn't let them quit. I held them accountable to the goals that we talked about when they started these calls. That was my job, and I wanted to own up to that and be accountable to that promise that I had made them. So this is what I said when I got those messages. I immediately messaged them back and I said, have your goals changed? Because I need to know. If they have, then we are going to have a very different conversation. But my first question is, have your goals changed? Talk to me a little bit about what is causing you to feel overwhelmed. Then they responded back, all 4 of the same women. They responded back and said, my goals haven't changed, but I haven't touched them either. They were talking about things going on in their life, in their family, in their jobs. Some of them are working full-time jobs. Some are stay-at-home moms. There were lots of different women all going through this leadership lid where they were just having a hard time. They're feeling really uncomfortable. And it was because they were not going at the pace they wanted to go at. Because this is the thing about these leadership calls. People who are really dedicated to doing this are people who are typically successful in everything they're doing in their life, right? If you have somebody who is dedicating themselves to something like this, they're a go-getter. And so this is someone who they're used to being successful. They're used to being able to pour their energy into their success. And when they can't give it their 100% focus, they can't go at the speed they want to go at. And then they're feeling like they are failing. So they'd rather just step back and walk away and quit than own up to the fact that they're not going at the pace they want to go. So the four different women that told me this, all in their different ways, basically came back and said to me that, yeah, they're feeling overwhelmed because of these family things. One had a new church calling that was really hard for them. Others had family things going on. Other was dealing with illness. And so what I said to them, first I empathized and I said, man, that is so hard what you're doing, because it is. I want to empathize with them because we all have a lot going on. We truly all have a lot going on, and it really is, it takes work and effort to do this business and do everything else that you're doing. So I want to empathize with that. And then what I want to tell them is this. I said, I know you said you're ready to move forward, and I think that that's still a goal of yours from what you're saying, because it does. In every single situation, they all said it was still a goal of theirs to move forward. But that what was holding them back was that holding themselves accountable to go at a slower progression was what was really bothering them. It wasn't the work that was really bothering them. It wasn't being consistent that was really bothering them. It's that they didn't like that they had to go at a slower pace than what their heart really wanted to go at. And I said, I'm a perfectionist too. Like, I get it. But you are not failing. You are not quitting. And I said, I think that taking the 30-minute weekly accountability call away will allow you to not be accountable to yourself to the goals that you still want. It's just uncomfortable each week to check in with yourself and say, I'm not going the pace that I want. What if you changed your thoughts to, I'm checking in this week saying, I'm still here. I'm not going the pace I want, but I'm still here, and I'm reporting to myself that I'm still here, and that's enough. Because there are going to be times in our business where we're going to have this ebb and flow where we can't go at the pace that we want to go at. And a lot of times we can't control those things. And so in each of these 4 situations with these 4 different women, they all said, you are so right. That is exactly what's happening. And they didn't even realize it because all they were seeing was being overwhelmed, feeling like they're juggling everything, feeling like they're failing. So they couldn't even see what was really at the root of it. So once they identified that, then they said, okay, I still do have my same goals. I still do want to do this. And so then I reminded them, you have financial goals that can be met with our company. You have great influence. You are a great leader. You are a hard worker, because they are. All of these women were all of these things. And I said, doing a 30-minute call once a week to be accountable to yourself is something that is going to push you to achieve your financial goals in your business. And this is the one thing in common that each of these women said, is that they didn't like coming to the group and saying 0. They hated that. So I said to them, it's hard to come and say 0, but no one is keeping score but you. Everyone has weeks with 0, myself included. We all have weeks like that. You're here to be accountable to yourself. That's it. If you're not messaging people, because every single one of them said, I'm really not messaging like I should be. So I said, if you're not messaging people, then it's no wonder you're not having results. We spend so much time thinking we need to message. We should be messaging. And we think about how we're not doing all the things that we need to do. We're not doing the dishes. We didn't get the laundry done. We're not getting everything done at our other job if we're working another job. We're not taking care of our family the way we think we should need to. We didn't pick up that sock. We didn't put away those toys, whatever it is. We think so much and spend so much time fixating on what we're not doing, when really, if we would just stop putting the pressure on ourselves and sit down and schedule 15 minutes to be intentional about our time, it would actually produce the results that we are so worried about not getting done. And so that's what I said. I said, that's what these calls are for. They are to hold yourself accountable to produce results. And really, it can be done in such a short amount of time that even if you just spent 15 minutes a day sending 3 messages out and then making sure that you're attending the 30-minute accountability call, you will be successful. And we're talking like an hour a week here. The more you put in, the more you get out. We all know that. But sometimes you have to adjust your pace, and that's fine. But be accountable to yourself that you still have the same goals, but that maybe the time frame in which you're achieving those goals is going to shift. That doesn't mean you quit. So I basically summed that all up with, it's the equation of doing those 2 things consistently, coming to your weekly accountability calls, putting in an intentional designated time in your day to send the messages, to follow up, to do all those things. That's what makes it all come together. And then I pour belief in them. I believe in you because I've seen what you are capable of. When you're consistent and you work hard, you get results. It's very simple. Every single one of these women who tried to quit at this game, at this point in the game, at this point, within 2 months of me not allowing them to quit, they all rank advanced. Every single one of them. Amazing. So I want to pour belief into you as a leader that as you run these calls for yourselves, that you are capable of holding your people accountable and you are responsible for it. You promised them that you would not let them quit. So when they come to you because they are feeling like they cannot do this, it is your job to ask these questions, these hard questions. It's important for you to be uncomfortable as a leader so that you can really help them raise their leadership lid. And in doing that, it's going to raise your lid too. And it's going to be uncomfortable. That's what this game, that's the name of the game. That's what it's all about. Empathize. Hold them accountable. Ask questions and then listen. Because the best thing that you can do as a leader is to ask great questions and then listen to what they say. They will tell you. And then you can get to the root of what really the issue is. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to get them past their objection and it's going to raise their lid and you're going to help them have success. I can't wait to hear how these calls go for you because I cannot tell you the amazing success it has brought into my business in these last 4 months that we've been running them. Have a great time. It's so much fun.